Welcome back to Therapy Inspired, where we have honest conversations about life, relationships, and everything in between, with warmth, curiosity, no judgment. I'm Darby Crosby. I'm a registered psychotherapist and marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Kameela Osman, registered social worker and a psychotherapist. And we're so glad you're here with us.
Content shared on Therapy Inspired is for informational and educational purposes only. Listening to this podcast or engaging with our content does not establish a therapist-client relationship. While we draw from our experiences as psychotherapists, we do not reference specific clients or confidential cases. Some of the topics we discuss may be emotionally activating, and if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, we encourage you to pause, take care of yourself, and reach out to a mental health professional in your area for support. Your well-being really matters. So today's topic is one we think that a lot of people may be able to relate to. Those sort of cringy, awkward, vulnerable moments that leave us thinking, oh no, did I really say that out loud?
We've all been there, the overshare in a new group, or the emotional outburst that comes at the wrong time, the joke that didn't land, or the moment you realized you spilt something way too personal in a casual conversation.
And it's funny, or maybe not so funny at the moment, but how much our inner critic shows up right afterwards. The voice that says, you ruined it. Or, why couldn't you just be normal? Why did you have to say that?
Yes, that shame spiral is real. But today we want to talk about how those moments don't have to define us. In fact, they can be an invitation to reflect, to laugh, to connect more deeply, and to build confidence in who we are, awkwardness and all.
So let's start by naming what is underneath the awkwardness. Often it's vulnerability. Social connection is wired into us. And when we feel like we've done something that threatens that connection, even just a little bit, our nervous system reacts. It can feel like danger.
Absolutely. Whether it's a mini fight or flight, you might feel exposed, like you're on display. Someone just spotted you or your soft underbelly. But let's be real, awkward moments are actually a part of being human. When we kind of zoom out, we can notice that our fear of judgment is way bigger than any actual judgment happening.
So let's talk about the vulnerability hangover. This term was created by Brene Brown, and it's what happens after you share something, honest or emotional, and then you wake up the next morning and feel kind of raw, embarrassed.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a dramatic confession. It can simply be speaking up in a meeting or crying in front of a friend, saying I'm lonely. These small disclosures can feel big because they go against the mask we've often been taught to wear.
And often we think that we've messed up, when in reality, those are just very real moments that we experience sort of a deepened connection. Like, how many times has someone said something awkward and you actually felt closer to them afterwards?
Yeah, normalizing that it's okay to be vulnerable. One of the gifts of awkwardness is that it breaks the illusion of perfectionism. It gives permission to both to be imperfect, and let's take down that mask. When we learn to embrace that awkwardness, we learn to meet in those moments with self-compassion, and instead of self-shame, something starts to shift.
So, what does confidence look like in those moments? Well, to me, it's not never ever feeling awkward, but it's about allowing yourself to stay present when you do. Confidence doesn't mean being polished or eloquent all the time. Sometimes it just means you have to take a breath and say, well, that didn't come out so good. That was a little bit weird, and then move on. Confidence is about being okay with being human. It's knowing that your worth is not determined by one conversation, one moment, or one facial expression that you're now obsessing over.
And we can build that confidence, especially through self-compassion. One way is by learning to regulate after the moment. That might mean using grounding tools like a hand on your chest or a deep exhale to signal to your nervous system, you're safe, this isn't a threat, and give yourself some grace.
Another tool is reframing. If your mind is saying, everyone thinks I'm weird. Try shifting it to that was a human moment, and it really doesn't define me. And that slight pivot can pull you out of that big spiral.
Yeah. There's also power in naming the moment, just sometimes even out loud, like, wow, I just rambled for 3 minutes straight, or oops, a vulnerability hangover incoming. It creates a little distance, and often people laugh with you.
I love that. Humor is such a beautiful way to soften shame. It's like saying, this is a part of me, the awkward, the fumbling part, and is welcoming, to be in this moment. And that I trust you.
Yeah. And the more we practice that, the easier it gets to laugh at ourselves and move forward rather than staying stuck in the shame, especially if we surround ourselves with people who value realness over perfection. It's hard to feel like you have to be on all the time and wear that heavy mask.
Yeah, so let's also name for our perfectionists listening that awkwardness doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you showed up and you were brave enough to be seen.
So maybe the next time you find yourself thinking, oops, I said that out loud, try this. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself you're still lovable, you're still worthy, you're still growing, and you're very human.
And if somebody walks away because of a single imperfect moment, that's information, not a reflection of your value, just clarity on who's meant to be in your circle.
So let's stop fearing awkwardness. Let's start embracing it as part of being real, messy, and meaningful connection.
So if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might need a reminder that awkward is normal and sometimes even beautiful.
And if you've had a recent oops moment and made it through, we'd love to hear how you handled it. Let's normalize this together. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay kind to yourself, even in the awkwardness.
Especially in the awkwardness. Next time, we're going to be talking about why you replay conversations at 2 a.m. Have a great day. Bye bye for now.